podcast. Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. For a second I was like, what day is it? Hi Megan, and I am still sick. I'm feeling much better. I think I'm on the mend, but I may have cough attacks, so I brought some water, and hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll try to keep it together. Hi Megan, Sheep, and Sophie, and Layla, and Lisa maybe, and Lulo, and Ooks is here, yay! And Millie, and Becca, and Cher. Hey Jenny, and Kyle, how's everybody doing? I am still fighting a cold, like I said, but it's getting better. It just, as weird as it sounds, I'm feeling better, but it sounds worse. I think it's because my nose is now running, whereas before it wasn't. It was like a dry cough. But anyway, so we are going to hang out. Hey Jamie, hey Lauren, and Lizzie, and Livy the Ladybug, and Sarah. How is everybody doing today? Tell me how you're doing. I actually just, right before we went live, I got your gifts, your Patreon gifts. Thanks, Sophie P. I got your Patreon gifts for this month, so those will go out soon. T-shirts should go out like next Tuesday. So everything should be going out relatively quickly, and I'll be filming your videos probably this Friday and Saturday. So make sure if you have a question and you're a Patreon patron at one of the tiers where you get the extra videos, that you ask your questions now so that I can answer them. Bethany, Sean is actually looking into, she asked if we're safe from the fires. If you're not aware, there are 3 fires kind of surrounding Los Angeles. One in Ventura County, one in the Valley, and another pretty close to where we are up in by the Skirball, which is kind of like near Mulholland and the 405. It's over by the Getty Museum. And so there are tons of fires everywhere, and we've have our air purifier running full blast all day and night because it's so smoky. Put towels around our doors to keep the smoke out. And when I opened the door to get the mail yesterday and this morning, there's like ash everywhere. And so I know some of my friends are considering, thank you, Cher. Woo, woo, woo. A lot of people have been evacuated. A lot of my friends and their families are waiting to hear or have already been evacuated. We have not, Sean is looking now. We have not heard anything about, he says we're still fine. So yeah, but there is a consideration okay, well, let's put the hard drives and the important files in our car, and we might have to relocate for a while. But right now we're still okay. And so I'll keep you guys posted. Yeah, it is really scary, Yana. Sorry. It is really scary. But so far everybody I know is safe. And everybody's home has been safe so far. It's just something that, it's been a really, really dry summer. We have these crazy things called the Santa Ana winds that are erratic, and they're super hot and dry. And so when a fire gets started, then the winds shift, and it can, the one in Ventura, when it started on, was it Monday night, I think? When it started, it was progressing at the rate of a football field per minute. So it was cruising through. And so anyways, we're okay. I'll keep you guys posted. Obviously, I'll let you know if anything changes. If this wasn't able to happen, I know that Ingrid Nilsson, a friend of mine, she was supposed to do a live stream today, and she is she's evacuating, and she was too frightened to get on the live stream. Sorry, Sean's on the casino over there. So anyways, we're just keeping in touch with people, making sure everybody's okay. But so far, we're fine. Yeah, so I'll let you know. But we're still running full force here, just like any other day, other than the fact that you can't go outside. So it's really weird. I know this sounds crazy, but you open the window in the kitchen because you're cooking and it's hot, or you open the bathroom window. Can't do that right now, and we're not supposed to be outside. So if you are in the LA area, make sure you're not outside. If you are, wear a mask. Be careful. Oh, good, Yana. I'm glad you're able to pop in. I'm sorry you have to go so soon, but I'm glad you're able to say hi. It was good to see you. Thanks, Ben Jensen. Ben. Woo woo woo. Bethany, I'm a little bit better. I have the cowbell. I'm feeling better, but I sound worse, and I still have cough attacks. And last night at midnight, I was fully asleep and then woke myself up in a cough attack. You were. I know, I woke Sean up too. He was so nice, so I went and got my humidifier and turned it on, and then we're good. Oh, Palm Tree Beach, you gotta leave too? Bummer, bummer, bummer. But anyways, I'm doing okay. Oh, you're watching at work, guys. So sneaky. And if you don't know, at 4 o'clock, so it's 3 o'clock now where I am, Pacific Standard Time. At 4 o'clock, Did I pass you my cold over the internet, Aaron? I'm so sorry. No, everybody's getting sick right now. I've been sick. It'll be 2 weeks today, and if it goes to Friday, I'm gonna call the doctor and get in. Thanks, Ooks. Woo 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 woo. Go. Oh, happy birthday, Palm Tree Beach. Yay yay yay. So anyways, yeah, go celebrate. Have a good time. Yay, wear your shirt about the pineapples on the pizza. I think it's amazing. But anyway, so things are looking up. I'm feeling a little bit better. I don't know if there'll be a live stream on Friday. Just so you guys know, I know that other people are going to pop in and out, but I wanted you all to be the first to know, and I kind of have talked to a couple Kenyans about this, but I will still be live streaming. However, I will not exclusively be live streaming on YouNow anymore. If you didn't know, part of the, I don't even know how else to say this, but like I had signed a contract with YouNow saying that I would live stream on here primarily so that you could subscribe and we could have all these extra gadgets and gizmos that we could have access to on our live streams. And I had signed that, but my contract is up January 11th and I could renew. But I kind of like the ones on Patreon a little better, and I'd like to be able to hop on to Instagram live every once in a while and just show you guys what I'm up to. Facebook, YouTube. And so I want you all to know that, so you can cancel your subscriptions to me on here, because I don't want you to lose any monies or feel like you were charged for something when you don't get it, because it won't only be on here. And so, yeah, make sure you cancel your subscriptions on YouNow. And if you are interested, you can take that $5 on over to Patreon and become a Patreon patron, and you can watch the live streams there, because those are really cool. If you haven't been on one yet, it allows you to put your question in like a whole nother tab. We're not moving to France. Don't believe Sean.
What? No, we're moving to France. I didn't tell you.
He didn't tell me.
I talked to some of the Kenyans about it.
But don't make me laugh. Anyway, so the Patreon ones are a little better, I believe. You guys can let me know, but I'll be doing them on all different types of platforms, and we can decide which ones we like as a community best. But it just gives us more flexibility versus always having to be on here. And I hope you're okay with that. But I wanted you to know so that you don't get charged $5 on January 1st, and then on the 11th I'm like, bye-bye. I mean, I'll still do YouNow live streams. It just would be like every so often, whatever. But because I had a contract, I had to do at least 4 a month on here, and I could only live stream on here. And so that was just a little limiting. So now we're free agents. Kenyans, we're taking it on the road. We're going wherever we want to go. But yeah, you can take that $5, take it over to Patreon, and you can be on those live streams. There's a whole other tab where you ask questions, and you can upvote other people's questions. I like it better, but we're still learning about it too. And so we can figure out what we like best. Yeah, so Wesley, you just cancel your subscription. That's what it would say. And don't feel bad about it. I'm telling you, thanks, Aaron P. Woo, 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 woo. Take out your earbuds. It is easier to follow Bethany, and I find it, and I will be streaming on YouTube. Yes, Wesley. We have so many exciting things that are happening in 2018, you guys. Sean and I this evening are going to go over our goals. We have some things that we're working on, and I can't wait to share it all with you. So make sure you follow me on all my social medias. Primarily, like Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter are where I share stuff quickly. But I will let you guys all know as things kind of roll out. But we have a couple new video ideas that are coming out and new styles. The Aaron P is coming in hot. Woo! Thank you, Sharky Blue. See, I am working to come to Britain. I've applied to go to the Amsterdam VidCon, and if I get accepted, we will be making a stop in London. I'll keep you posted on like all of that. That won't be till like April, I don't think, but I haven't heard anything. Aaron P, thank you, woo, woo, woo. So I'll keep you guys posted on all of that stuff. Binz, I wonder if I did make most of my goals come true this year. So like in 2017, I feel very fulfilled. The only thing that I wanted to do that I'm going to push into 2018 is Sean and I did not get outdoors as much as we would have liked. Thanks, Tanya. Woo, woo, woo. I know Amsterdam, exactly. So I'll keep you guys always like posted on everything, but I wanted to make sure that you cancel your subscriptions on here. Feel free to take that $5 and put it on over to Patreon. Know that on Patreon you can pick a reward tier that works with your budget. There's no pressure. Nothing changes for you on YouTube or anything. If you can't give, Don't feel like you have to. But you can just pick whatever you want. So even though I've set reward tiers, you can just go in and say, I want to give $4. So it's like in between a tier, and that's completely fine. So yeah, you can do whatever you want. But I just didn't want you to be charged and then be like, Katie, how come? I don't want you losing any monies. So yeah, we'll be live streaming all over the place. But I will do my 4 in December because, you know, I like YouNow. They are very nice people. They've been super sweet, and I really love the community. That's how I met Emma McGann, and she's such a good friend of mine. So I've been talking to people at Twitch, and I've thought about it. I don't know anything about it. Bye, Palm Tree Beach. Happy birthday. Woo, woo, woo. So anyways, I would consider Twitch too. And so we'll see. I'll let you guys know. And we'll kind of, I want your feedback too. Like if you watch live streams on other platforms, I would love you to tweet to me and let me know the ones that you find the best. I personally like things that are just easily accessible to me. So YouTube is great, Facebook is great, Instagram is great. Those are the ones that I watch. But I would love to hear, oh, you watch a lot of people on Twitch? Erin, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, because I know that one of my friends, I don't know, Life Noggin, do you guys remember I did a collab with Pat from Life Noggin? He's Blocko. I love their channel, super educational, super great and fun. They do stuff on Twitch, and he's the reason that I started looking into it, and he thinks it's the best because there are ways for you all to like, to get, you know how this is like gamified, like YouNow has the ways for you to like interact and make sure your question gets answered and be a subscriber and all of that. Twitch offers that too, where Facebook, YouTube does not. YouTube has like a power chat, or I forget what they call it, super chat. But anyway, we'll play along with it, play around with it. Sorry, I was reading someone's question. We'll play around with it. You guys let me know what you like and don't like. Yeah, and I like how Patreon has the ask a question function too, Sophie. That's why. But make sure, I mean, you guys might as well utilize your subscription all the way through this month. Just cancel it at the next month so that you don't get charged. Thanks, Orbiting Around. I honestly, because you've already paid this month, you can cancel anytime because you should still be able to use all your goodies on here until the end of the month, I would assume. But if you want to know, I'd probably cancel it like on the 22nd or something like that. I know, no schwitzing. It's officially cold. And I know that this seems like it's like branding because it's Patreon. Patreon was their event they put on. But truthfully, because I've been sick, I haven't done laundry and I'm just burning through my sweatshirts and my pajama pants. So this was the one that was up. And it has been super cold, even though the thing is, I mean, we're like on fire. It's technically not cold out, but I'm cold in my house. Oh, you got a ticket for VidCon Anaheim. Ashley Basta Volleyball. I will be there. Yay, 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 yay. Oh, thanks, Lola C. No, okay, Jamie. Yes, no more YouNow only. I will still probably live stream on here periodically, but you can cancel your subscriptions to me because I will... Like my contract with them, where you even have the ability to subscribe, ends January 11th. And since it's the 11th, I don't want you charged for a whole month in January. I'd rather you just cancel it ahead of time. I'll still, sorry you guys, I'll still live stream in January a time or two. But yes, I don't want you to get charged for the 11 days. Oh, Billy just got work clearance to stay in America. That's so awesome. Till VidCon US, I'll get to see you then. Yay, yay, yay. Oh, that's so cold, Aaron. 20 degrees. Brr. Oh, it doesn't charge on the 1st. It charges on the day you signed up, Sophie P. You guys might want to check. Check when you now took out your monies and make sure you're canceled so you don't charge. It doesn't charge you again. I don't know. Yeah, I get to see you. I get to see so many of you at VidCon. I'm excited. Yay, yay. But anyways, oh, that reminds me. I need to reach out to Playlist. Sorry, guys. So I can meet more of you. Do Playlist in DC and Orlando and all the good things. But anyways, I just wanted to let you know. Thank you, Marshmallows and Honey. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, yeah, and Patreon does do the 1st of the month. That's why I assumed. Ashley Basta Volleyball, so hers is the 8th. But, yeah, just, you know, just make sure that, like, you aren't charged again. That's all. I just don't want you to be charged for something, because we'll be trying different live streaming platforms, and I'll let you know. As always, follow me on Twitter, and the Patreon live streams I always post on Patreon, so as long as your notifications are turned on, you'll be able to see when I post, and then you'll be able to see when there's a live stream or a new video up, because I'm filming your videos this Friday and Saturday, and they should go up next week. So, there's a lot of questions already, so I hope you guys are getting ready for it. There'll be a lot of videos going up. Oh, Shar, or Cher. I always want to say Shar. I don't know why. Even though I know it's Cher. Cher took her son to the Polar Express last night. I personally, you guys, am quite a holiday person. I love the holidays. I know there's a lot of stress associated with it. Oh, it's 70 degrees there, Bins. That's nice. Australia's like always on the opposite, so we're getting cold and they're getting hot. But I love the holidays. And I love the season. We're going to Washington to see my family for Christmas, so I'm really excited about that. And we're going to stay through New Year's. I haven't been home for New Year's, like, with my mom since I was, like, 20. I don't even know. A long time. So I'm excited. But I know a lot of you get stressed around the holidays. I know that it's a really hard time. I have a ton of videos from the past years. If you want to look up Kati Morton holidays, I'm sure they'll all come up. Yes, I'm older than 20, sketchy business. I'm 34 and proud of it. So I would, anyways, just, if you want some videos on holiday stuff now, go check them out. Is there any one? I would thought about making just maybe 1 or 2 holiday videos this year. I'm filming, tomorrow, and then later, like next, not this weekend, but the weekend after. Oh, yay. Thank you. Sheep is in the house. Yay, yay, yay. If there's anything that you want me to do or to talk about when it comes to holidays, tweet to me. Let me know, because I'm happy to answer some of your questions or do specific holiday content. I honestly am just having a hard time coming up with new stuff, because I had, like, in my old videos, I mean, I did like full, like 8 videos each year on holiday stuff, so I'm kind of like out of content ideas. So let me know. So if you... you guys, I'm so sorry. So anyways, Megan, on Patreon, you ask questions for the videos each month. Or when we do a live stream, you can ask them in the Ask a Question tab. I don't answer messages on there because it was like extremely overwhelming, as well as like comments and posts and stuff. It was just too much for me to keep up with. And Patreon doesn't really make it easy for me to see which ones. Oh, Jessica L. Ready? Woo! Thank you, Jessica. Yay, 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 yay. Woo, 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 woo. Thank you, thank you. Holy moly. Coming in hot. Yay, yay, yay. Thank you, Jessica. So if you have questions, Patreon is the best way, is a live stream, or when I send a message out to my $20 and above and ask them for their questions for the monthly videos, and then you can send them in that way. So that's the best way to ask them there. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions or trouble managing that, let me know, but we'll be doing the live stream right after this. So it's a great way to utilize that, that question ability, if that's the right word. Okay, sorry you guys, I'm like, it's a little rough here. Okay, let's see. Oh, cool, Ralph. Thanks for letting us know. He says, I recommend the book Mirror, Mirror by Cara Delevingne about identity and for depression. I had no idea that she struggled until recently. Someone had mentioned that she had struggled. I read like an article and I was like, wow. So I'm glad she's talking about it. Oh, Sarah Wild, I do a collab with Dan and Phil. I know Dan. I don't know Phil as well. Dan put out a video recently. I don't know if you know, but he'd reached out to me about it. It's about his depression, and he wanted to link over to the channel. He's just great. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely, if I'm headed that way, I will reach out to him, and hopefully we can connect. Layla's asking what's Adpocalypse all about. I'll answer a few more questions, you guys, and then we'll guess some of you. So know that we guessed. Beth, this stream is all mental health. I'm a licensed therapist, and I have a mental health channel on YouTube where I answer all of your questions. So that's kind of what we do. We hang out, we have a good time, and we answer some mental health questions. But I have too many questions today. There's no such thing, Nazanin. You can ask as many, and we'll try to see what we can do. But To answer Layla's question about adpocalypse, frankly, I'm tired of even hearing about it or talking about it, because my channel is always, not always, but ever since the first time that YouTube like cracked down on, I don't even know what you'd call it, but like explicit content, or what they deem explicit, my channel has struggled. Every time I try to talk to a YouTube employee about it, they're understanding, but they're always like, well, you're still making some money on here. I'm like, yeah, but my channel's grown and most of my videos aren't monetizable, or if they are, it takes like a week for you to approve it, so I miss most of the views. And that's just kind of what the adpocalypse is about. People are talking about it is because they keep cracking down on certain tags. So if you've noticed, unfortunately, I'm not able to tag my videos or put in any descriptions into them, because I was getting punished. Essentially, every video that I would put up, it would be demonetized, and I'd have to ask it again, and half the time they'd say no, and sometimes they'd say yes. And so I just don't put any of that content in there. Even though the videos themselves are still the same, I'm not changing the videos I create. I just don't put that in there. I know, and it does suck. It's annoying. And I don't know, Bethany. I've asked them a lot why do you think mental health information is so explicit, and like people should be talking about this, and I kind of got in a heated conversation once with somebody who will remain unnamed, but I was like, thanks, Melinda. Woo, woo, woo. Anyways, I said, so what you're telling me is that I can't make a living on YouTube because you don't approve my content. However, if I don't tag things appropriately, it's fine. Therefore, if someone searches for suicide information, they're more likely to come across content that is negative, that helps them harm themselves, versus mine, because you aren't allowing me to tag it appropriately. Or what you're telling me is that then I can't get any money from YouTube then. YouTube isn't a place that I can call home. It's just a place for my videos to reside. And they're like, well, that's not what I'm saying. Like, they wouldn't, I don't know. I got kind of pissed off. But, you know, it's just bullshit. So, yes, agreed, Sophie. Agreed. I know. YouTube's a little silly, but I'm grateful to them. Ooh, I just unplugged my laptop. Not that it matters. I think it's charged up now. But you know, they do their best. They've allowed me to reach all of you. You can't hate on it too much. So we're just working within the system that we're given. So what I do is when I upload a video and they tell me that it's monetized, then I go back in and I tag things. And sometimes I try to put in descriptions. I'm a little behind right now just because I've been busy. Thanks, Melinda. Woo, woo, woo. But that's what the adpocalypse is all about. A lot of people are frustrated because their content has been demonetized. Like even Casey Neistat, his video about the Vegas shooting, he was like, I'll donate all the AdSense to the cause, and they wouldn't let you get any AdSense. I did the same. Mine wasn't monetized either. Thanks, Jamie. And their answer was just like, we don't do any of that. That's just not what we do. So, you know, I don't know if I believe them, but I have to work with it. So we'll make it work. And it's really because of Patreon that I'm able to keep creating. So kudos to my Patreon patrons. Oh, yay, Abby, I'm glad you're here. Better late than never. I agree, Wesley. He says that they need to have real people make these decisions rather than crappy automation that they have in place. Totally. Thanks, Melinda. Woo, 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 woo. Because they say the AI, the whatever scanning our videos is getting smarter, but I don't see it. So it gets a little bit faster, but I know I'd love to create my own YouTube, but I'd need, thank you, sheep. I know you guys, patrons in the house. KatieTube. might be a little too much, you know, who knows? I know, but stupid robots, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, having a hard time. Okay, let's, yeah, the artificial, I got water, honey. Okay, let's see, Elphaba. We haven't checked in with her in a while. Let's see how she's doing, see if we can connect to her. Okay, and I'll answer more questions if we can connect. Megan says, what should I expect during a psychological and psychiatric evaluation for BPD? A lot of it's just questions. It'll be basic questions about probably how your emotions feel to you, emotional volatility, if you're able to be mindful and name your feelings, if you've had trauma in your past. Consider it kind of like a intake appointment, like your first therapy appointment, where they ask you all sorts of questions about you. That's kind of just how it is. Hi, Alfalba.
Hi.
How are you?
I am not great. I'm warning you because I'm running quite heavy calculations on my computer at the same time, so it might not work great.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, people they say there's an echo. Let me. Oh, is it gone? It's okay. It's gone. Okay.
Okay.
Let me know if it comes back. Because I can put my headphones in. So what's going on?
Quite a lot. Yeah, I have my therapist ADHD coach has not been great for the past couple of months, and
Oh, and hold on one second, Elphaba. You guys, she blocks her camera so we don't see her. She expects it's on purpose. So don't think that anything's wrong with your computer. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, no, and he's not been great. He's been forgetful and not saying what he not doing what he promised, not remembering things I told him the last time, and just annoying, and not believing me when I was saying I was struggling. And it's like kind of escalated last week, and I'm like, I don't want to go back to him.
Yeah. Do you have any options to see anybody else? I know that since you're in the UK, it can be a little difficult to switch people.
I'm in the Netherlands actually, but
oh, okay. It said GB, but that's weird.
yeah, I don't know why that is. Yeah, no, but it's hard. Like waiting lists are crazy long.
Yeah,
and I'm already on a waiting list, but that's 8 to 10 months.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's like gonna be forever.
Yeah,
and I'm
so long.
Yeah, it's quite insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I reached out to another therapist in the same organization, and I have been waiting for a reply, and I've been waiting for a few days now, and I was really, really frustrated because she's a group therapist, and I thought I was gonna see her today, but she was sick last week.
Oh,
that's
gotcha.
why she hasn't replied.
Yeah, because getting you some support, I mean, we all know that they're like shitty therapists, just like there's shitty people at any job, unfortunately. But that's, I mean, I believe what you're saying that that he does is like one of the things that I mentioned in my video about how to know if it's a bad therapist. I think that's one of the signs that I mentioned. But yeah, I mean, do you have, like, it sounds like you're reaching out, we're getting you as much support as you can. Are there things that you can do that make you feel better, that are like good self-care practice for you?
Yeah, that's not my strong suit. No.
No, but maybe we should try. We could come up with a new list or a new thing, or try an old thing that used to work that we just haven't done in a while.
Yeah. Studying has been my big go-to.
That's not really self-care.
I know.
I think, like, maybe try, I don't know what works best for you, but something that I do is I'll take a bath. Instead of showering that day, I'll take a bath. Or I'll allow myself an hour, but if you don't have an hour, maybe it's like 20 minutes of just free time where I can scroll through Instagram stories, or I can watch funny videos on YouTube. I do whatever I want. I don't have to do any work or study or anything like that. Yeah, Lush bath bombs. I agree. But yeah, finding something that I mean, everybody's gonna be different. Like, it's hard for me to tell you what could work, but it could even just be treating yourself to something. Like, I used to treat myself to my favorite Starbucks drink because I wouldn't want to spend the money on it, but then it'd be like a treat. Or getting my nails done or something like that. But it kind of depends on what you already kind of like to do. Coloring can work. Anything.
Yeah. I've at least started to like, I'm now at the point of like struggling so much that I'm cutting down on study load as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, giving yourself a break when you need it is important. Because that only makes like all of our symptoms worse, whatever they may be. Like our ADHD symptoms get worse when we get stressed out. Depression symptoms get worse. Eating disorder symptoms get worse. And so it's making sure that we take the time before we feel like total shit,
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and I'm so sick of that guy.
I know.
He's just, it's like the last thing was that he was like finally getting that I was struggling, and actually like, oh, don't we need a crisis plan, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
and like saying, oh, I'm gonna discuss you in the team meeting, blah 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 blah. And then last appointment, he forgot to discuss me in the team meeting.
Oh, jeez. Like, write a note, dude. Remind yourself. Jeez, it's not that hard.
It's
Ugh.
yeah, that's what I thought. Like I was just that was it.
Yeah. And that's fair. I think it's fair. But we don't want you to have no support. I mean, I don't know. If you feel like it's more detrimental to you seeing him than helpful, then I wouldn't even see him. You know what I mean? You'll have to figure out what's best for you. Because usually I always tell people, like, well, stick with them until you have someone else so you can, like, switch directly from one to another. But if you feel like it's more detrimental to you, then I wouldn't do it. Because it should be at least somewhat helpful, or at least give you, like, a little reprieve from how you're feeling. But if that's not the case, then
Yeah.
you know?
No, no, it has been like giving me the hope of getting a plan at some point, but
Okay.
but that's like I don't really believe that that's gonna happen anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
sorry. But yeah,
it's just
I would be persistent, be the squeaky wheel, speak up, tell them, like, if you have to keep calling and seeing, I know you're on that list, but if there's any way to speed it up, I would do that. And then try to take care of yourself. Do some
hmm
stuff. I've talked
yeah.
on in my videos. I know you have some ideas. Let's try them out and see which ones work.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that group therapist because she's been pretty great, and she's already like really tackled him to. I think she actually threatened him to email me back when he wasn't,
Yeah.
because he finally emailed back when she was working again.
Interesting.
So
Yeah, we can kind of
yeah,
on our end, not bully because that's not the right word, but just like insist that they do their job. Be like,
yeah,
because they can lose their job then or get in trouble. And that's not, because what he's doing isn't ethical. You can't leave people hanging. You can't say you're going to do something over and over and not create safety plans or anything. Like, all of that's
no.
terrible. So,
No, and it was even at the point like he was actually like questioning me whether therapy felt like failing, and I was like, no, I'm just really like frustrated with the process, but I don't feel like I'm failing. And and then he finally admitted that he felt like he was failing, and I was like, okay, I'm not your therapist,
yeah,
please.
keep that shit for your own sessions, not in mine. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, keep me posted, but do some good things for yourself. Try at least one thing today, okay? I know it's the evening for you, but
Yeah, yeah.
you can still do
I
one
would
thing.
think you should probably be sleeping.
I know. It's true. Even just going to bed could be taking care of yourself. Maybe give yourself a quick little foot rub, put some cozy socks on, and go to bed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But keep me posted, okay?
Yes, thanks.
It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you for guesting me.
Of course, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Sorry, my sock fell off. I have to put it back on because my... Oh, Megan, yes, you can rewatch this video live because I have a blankie. Because I have simulcasted it onto YouTube, so it will be saved on YouTube. Thanks, Elena. Is it Elena or Alina? Thank you. Oh, hey, Ronnie. Woo. So, yes, you can... I know I won't see her soon, but I'll hear from her soon. And I feel like I know Alfaba because she's so active on the website, or has been through over the years, offering very, very sage advice. So I'm always really grateful for her and all the stuff, all the ways she's helped out the community. But yes, you can watch all of this on YouTube after the live stream. I think even now, there's probably people watching from YouTube as well. And come on over to YouNow if you want to chat and guest and all that stuff. But it will be... it will be available. So if you aren't able to stay through, or if you just want to watch something and have a nice distraction later, it'll be available. Okay, let's answer some questions here. I know, orbiting around, I'm happy that you're a part of it. Yay. Okay, Country Love says, how do you know if focus problems stem from ADHD or depression? Truthfully, the best way to know is to actually see a professional and be assessed, because I don't specialize in ADHD treatment. However, my colleagues that do always do testing and assessment when it comes to that, to ensure that you're getting the proper diagnosis, because struggles with concentration and focus can be part of depression, but there are a lot of other symptoms associated with depression, as well as there's other symptoms associated with ADHD, and we need to figure out which ones you're experiencing. And so testing and assessment is there for a reason. That's why it exists, and that's why a therapist either will have you answer some questionnaires in their office, or they'll refer you out to see someone who does just the testing and assessment, and then talk you through the results and what it means. So I would see them, and I would make sure that you get the diagnosis that fits you best. Okay? Livy the Ladybug, hold on, says, how can you deal with a step-parent interrupting? Yes, agreed, Taylor, and that is a good thing to mention, is that depression and ADHD can happen together a lot. So Livy the Ladybug says, how can you deal with a step-parent interrupting while talking with my dad, and I get lectured for not loving her enough? Oh, goodness. Honestly, now I'm going to be completely candid about this. I have never had a step-parent. My parents were married till my dad passed away. However, having my mom's boyfriend Larry into her life has kind of given me a little insight into how difficult it can be to let someone else into your family, and it can take time. But the truth about it, if we're adults, which we all are adults enough, I think teenagers and above, we can have conversations with you, and we can listen, and we can, work together. I honestly believe that seeing the therapist together would be great. Thanks, Pops. Woo, woo, woo. Seeing a new therapist as a family could be super helpful, because it can make sure that you're heard, that she's heard, that your dad's heard, and that everybody comes together. That would be my goal. That would be amazing. Paolo, the question is how to deal with a step parent who's just kind of making your life really hard. But if that's not a possibility, because I know not everybody does that. Thanks, Melinda. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, you're going line dancing, Kimberly. Oh, have fun. I'm so excited. I'm so jealous. Yay. Thanks, Melinda. But I would, the second thing, if we can't get into therapy, I would set aside some time. I would tell your dad, because essentially, it sounds like a step parent is the woman, right? It's your father and his new wife. I would talk to your dad, and I would say, I'm having issues with, I don't know, Susie Q over here. And Dad, I'd really like to set some time aside. Wow. Set some time aside so we can talk it out. But I don't want to fight. I just want to be able to talk it through. And then give yourself the time to do that, like setting aside the time, writing down the issues that you have, coming at it from a point of, I'm not going to fight. I'm going to express what I feel, and I'm going to hear her out as well. We have to come into each conversation like this with open ears. We have to be able to listen as well as speak what's bothering us. And so that may take practice. You may have to practice saying it out loud, imagining what she's going to say, and tell your dad that you don't want it to be a fight. And if it's a fight, you can always walk away. You can say, I didn't want this to be an argument, and so I'm just going to walk away. We'll have to come back to this at another time. You can be the bigger person. You can be the adult. I find sometimes parents don't even act like adults. And so even though we're the children, we can act as the adult in the conversation, make sure that our point gets across, and hopefully she hears it, because you might be stuck with her for the rest of, whatever. I don't even know. We don't know how long she'll be around, but your dad married her, so it might be a while. So we should find a way to communicate. We should find a way to express what's upsetting us, and hopefully, who knows? Thanks, Beth. Woo, 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 woo. Who knows? She might not even know that she's being that way, or that it's interpreted by that way, but we have to give her the opportunity to at least try to make things right. Okay? Let me know how it goes. It's really hard. Oh, Corrine, I'm glad. I know it's really hard to talk it out. Thanks, Holly. Woo, woo, woo. But that's the best. It's the best thing we can do. I know it's easier just to pretend. Ooh, Holly. Woo, 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 woo. But we're quote unquote family now, whether we like it or not. And so we're going to have to start talking and start finding a better way to live together. I know it's hard, but give yourself the time and talk about it. And it'll take multiple times talking. Okay. Thanks, Holly. Yee, yee, yee. Okay. Okay, Carly's asking, yo, Katie, I'm curious what your thoughts on the empty chair are because I'm 99.99% sure I loathe the idea and don't want to do it. It depends on the client. I like it in certain situations. For a lot of my clients who struggle to express anger, it can be great and super healing. Empty chair, if anybody's wondering what that means, empty chair is a technique that's used in therapy where you place the person, let's say I'm having issues with my mom. I place my mom in the chair, and this is all like mental. It's like an empty chair. We actually sit a chair in the office if there isn't one already, and it's empty. Thanks, Holly, coming in hot. Woo, woo, woo. And so that chair is where we place the person that we're struggling to talk to, and we just pretend that they're sitting in that chair. And that gives us a way to be like, I hate you, and I can't believe you did that thing, and blah, 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 blah. Or I miss you and I'm sorry and I never got to say I'm sorry. And it really, it's a way to express all that we feel, and it gives us a safe place to do it because they're not really there. Empty chair can be great. But I'm like a little bit cynical in my own like head and my own personal life. Like I'm more of a cynical type person. And so that kind of stuff doesn't work with me. And so a lot of my clients who are that way or who are a little more direct about things, they're not going to like it because it can feel a little hokey pajokey. But I'm sorry, I'm getting my chapstick out. But it does work for some people, and it can be really healing. And yes, I still have my big chapsticks, but they're in the other room because I've been sitting by my humidifier all day, and I haven't really been in here. But hopefully, like Jamie says, I can't do empty chair. I feel silly. Yes, exactly, Taylor. It is just like that. And so anyways, I hope that that clears it up a little. Those are my thoughts about it. It can help for some people. I'll never say never on a technique in therapy, unless I think it's damaging, obviously, but everyone's going to be different. And so you want to have all different types of things that you can do, and let your therapist know if you don't want to do it, because if you feel like it's silly and you can't do it, then it's not going to help you. Wigwam, I was hoping you discussed maternal narcissistic personality disorder. There isn't such a thing as maternal narcissistic personality disorder. There is such a thing as narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, and I have a video about it. If you want to know how it's diagnosed and how it can feel for those who struggle and how people can overcome it. I know there's a lot of argument in the comments of those videos, people saying like, well, they wouldn't really want to get better and blah. Let's not count people out. A diagnosis doesn't mean that we're all the same. Many people can experience parts of NPD and still want to get better. So give them a little bit of, oh, thank you, sheep. She's on it. Woo, woo, woo. So anyways, that's, those are my thoughts on that. Okay, bye, Livy. Thanks for being on. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, Ronnie says, my dissociation has become so bad that my therapist won't let me drive to sessions because they worry. So now it's a phone sesh. Am I going backwards? Oh, I've done that with clients too, because thank you, Asia. I've gotten scared of clients driving who have dissociation too. I actually had a really hard time with one client because part of one of the jobs she was doing, because she was also in college, she's an undergrad, was driving. She was like doing Instacart deliveries, the grocery stuff, and that was part of like how she was making money. And I just didn't want her doing it. I felt like it was a danger to people. Thanks, Holly. Yay, yay, yay. Bethany, my throat does get sore from wooing. I'm getting better. Like at home, I'm keeping my voice a little bit lower and calmer. But totally, when I first started doing this, my voice would be hoarse for like a day. So thanks, Jamie. Woo, woo, woo. But I don't think you're going backwards, Ronnie. I think it's just meeting you where you're at, and hopefully what I would encourage you to talk with your therapist on those phone sessions or to work with on your own are more grounding techniques. Thanks, Holly. Coming in hot. Yay, yay. Of course, Nicole. Thank you, thank you. Of course, I love helping out. I love being a resource. And so I don't think you're going backwards, but I would work with them to find new grounding techniques and ways of keeping yourself present. I don't know if you've watched my... Yay, Julie. That's so great to hear. Her knee surgery went well. But I think that, like Dodie says, like she has people that she knows, like she always tells me like, oh, just touch on my back or like grab my hand or my arm. It brings her back. Finding things that can bring you back and encouraging those that are supportive around you to help you, or having certain things that you do can be really, really great. Rubber bands on wrists. I know people have different thoughts about it, but you can snap those and keep those. Hi, Holly. Keep those going just to kind of bring you back. But working on that, because we want to get you back into therapy in person because it's so much more beneficial, I believe. Let's try to find things. Oh, yeah. And that's a great idea. Chloe says, oh wait, no, not Chloe. Katie Lane says, I set alarms on my phone throughout the day to bring me back. So maybe try that. Thanks, Holly. Yay. Okay, let's guess someone else because we're running out of time. Amber Davies, you're up. You're up. Another one, it says Great Britain, although Elphaba said she was in the Netherlands and not Great Britain. So maybe it gets confused. Is she here? It sounded like we connected, but maybe not. Okay, let's see. Emma, I don't think I'm doing a, I don't see you. Emma West is best. I don't see you in the queue. I'm not going to do a live stream, I don't think, on Friday, because I am still sick and I'm trying to, like, give myself a break. And I also, I have a dermatologist appointment. Oh, it wouldn't connect. I'm so sorry. Frozen. But I'm, as all of you should do, and I've been talking about this a little bit, probably more than you guys would like to know. But I did find a hematologist in my insurance plan, if any of you were on the last live stream. And the thing that's awesome about Cigna is that now when I finally reach out and I'm like, I can't find anybody on my plan. Everybody says they're not taking it. Oh, bye, Melinda. Thanks for being on and hanging out with us. Yay. They tell me that now my insurance they're not like offering it in California next year. And I'm like, where was my note? And they're like, we sent out letters in July. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would have remembered and would have seen that, but I don't think you sent it, you lying sacks up. Beep. Anyways, I don't even know why I beat myself out there, but it's just kind of fun. Hate insurance, hate everything about it. I don't hear any other better models. Everybody seems unhappy all over the world. It's either long wait lists or you pay a shit ton of money. So anyways, working on that, but I will see my hematologist on Wednesday, and I have a dermatologist appointment on Friday to make sure, I love it, Holly, it's true, to get all, all these little like moles and stuff that we have, get it checked out, make sure we're okay. So we're going to do that and make sure you're taking care of yourself, getting regular checkups. I know it can be scary, but it's important to get things looked at and know sooner rather than later if something's up. Like I was talking about my blood test because my grandma had some strokes last Christmas, and turns out she has a gene mutation, and so did all her sisters, and so I got tested, and it turns out I have a partial mutation. So then I can do things to prevent myself from having any trouble. So make sure that you get checked out and you get all the things taken care of ahead of time. You don't have to wait till you're really sick or having a really hard time. You can go and get a physical and go and get your blood work done and all that stuff. That's crazy, Aaron. Says health insurance is driving me nuts right now. Even though I canceled my Cobra, they took out $800 this month. Oh, they're so frustrating. I hate it. I do agree. Thank you, Holly, and thanks, Melissa. Thank you. Thanks, Andrea. Yeah, so it's just important to take care of yourself, I know, right, Megan? Same. I got these crappy mutated genes. So, anyways, okay. Thanks, Holly. Coming in hot. Okay. Trisha has a good question. She says, can you give advice on how to better get to know and accept my alters? When someone talks about alters, they're talking about dissociative identity disorder, or what we used to call multiple personality disorder, which is when we feel like we have a bunch of different people in our head. And the truth about these these other people, they're essentially us. They're just alternate versions. That's why they're alters. I always think they're like alternate versions of us. Meaning that if, let's say, we were in a really traumatizing situation, thanks, Jamie, yay. And so let's say we're in a really traumatizing situation and we felt really helpless. An alter that could come out of that could be a really, really tough, rough around the edges, not afraid to get into a fight type of person. Could be extremely confrontational, anger first, something that maybe is totally not who we normally are. Sorry. And so that's why they happen. And I think the best way to acknowledge and accept and care for your alters so that you can work better together. Some people find that having them all reintegrate back into you can be really healing. That works for some people. That doesn't work for others. Some people have to find a way to work in harmony. Thanks, Sheepishness, for putting that in there. She put the link to that video. And so I encourage you to love on them a little bit. Appreciate them for what they are and why they exist. Because in a way, they're like protectors of you. It's a way for your brain to be like, I got this. You might not be able to handle this, softy over here, but tough one can deal with this, and then this one can handle that. And so it kind of breaks us up into different versions of ourselves so that we can best manage situations and survive. Thanks, Holly. Woo, woo, woo. And so anyways, I think that could be the best, is just loving on them a little, understanding why they exist, and slowly accepting them. And that's when they end up working best together. Okay, so Sheep says, question, what's the difference between an autism meltdown and a panic attack? From what I know, they're both fight or flight response. They are. Everyone's going to be a little different. In my experience, and I have a very limited experience with the autism spectrum, but autism spectrum, like meltdowns, come out from two reasons. Like sensation, meaning like I heard something, I felt something, I tasted something, and I didn't like it. Overwhelming, too much noise, all that stuff. Or they can come from like quick transitions where we don't have the ability to like get ourselves ready and move into another activity or another room or another thing that we're working on. If someone forces us, like, we got to go now, you don't have time, and they shut your computer down and like make you get up, it can be really jarring. That's why we have meltdowns when we're on the spectrum. However, panic attacks come out of a whole different place. It's not to do, we can be triggered, which I think is why the murky water is there, but there's a buildup. There's usually a buildup of some kind of sensation, whether that be like racing heart, sweaty palms, difficulty breathing. We start to feel it, and it happens because panic attacks, if you don't know, can be triggered. But what makes them happen with more frequency is just the worry that they'll happen again, which I know is like total mind fuckery, but that's why they happen. And so you can see how they're kind of different. Like the spectrum will happen because of things that are in our environment that are out of control. And panic attacks happen because we already have a high level of anxiety and we worry that they'll happen again. And then we start feeling certain sensations, or something happens that causes that sensation. Like a lot of my clients who struggle with panic attacks don't want to go swimming because if they have to hold their breath for a little bit, or water gets in, they feel like they're choking. Any of that can like trigger it. And so I think that's a difference. Does that make sense? I can keep talking about it, but I don't want to convolute. I don't want to make it too convoluted. I want to keep it as cut and dried. So that's how I would like pull it out. Mind fuckery. It is though, Holly. I'm glad that's your favorite. Oh, this is an interesting one, and I'm learning more about this still, Alice, but this is a great question. She says, my therapist says I have DID, but I don't have alters. Is this right? It can still be right. I wish I wasn't on my DSM again, because I'd like to read you guys the exact... Watch my video about DID that she put it in the chat, and you can go onto YouTube and search Kati Morton DID, and it will come up. But dissociative identity disorder can be when I've had clients who don't technically have alters, but they have different ways they manage things. It can feel like manipulation. And I know that's like such a negative connotation to that word, but manipulation can be very, very, it's a survival instinct, because it's a way, if we struggle with dissociation all the time, right? It's so hard for us to be present. It's so hard for us to get back. We feel dissociated most of the time. Like I would venture to say that that Dodie could possibly have DID because she does struggle with dissociation so much. We've talked about this a little bit off and on. But you don't have to necessarily have alters. You can have, because the alters aren't going to feel the same. This is going to be so murky, but I'm learning more. Like I said, this is something that I've been reading about in the past like 6 months. And I do believe personally, based on what I've read, that we can act out of our dissociated self. It's almost like another self, but it's not an alter. We can act out of that to manipulate a situation so that we feel safer, so that we feel better, and our anxiety goes down, and we're hoping to return to ourself and not dissociate. That can be part of DID as well. I'm just throwing it out there. I know that there's a lot of talk and a lot of chatter in the psych community about it, but there's no like definitive answers. But a lot of people struggle with dissociation for like much of the time. So it's not just little episodes. It can be like weeks and weeks. And the question is, just because they don't necessarily have definitive alters, can't they still have dissociative identity disorder because they're pulled away from self, right? I don't know. Anyways, it's really interesting. I wish I had like a definitive answer for you, but that's just a conversation that's being had. And I think it's a really interesting one. And as I hear more, I'm happy to keep talking to you about it. I haven't read anything recently because I'm working on some other projects. But yeah, maybe it's a good coffee and a chat because there's no real answer thus far. But based on my experience with my own clients, thanks, Holly. She is just at it, keeping at it. Oh, have fun, Jin. Enjoy Taekwondo. But I think it's important that we at least talk about it because it's something that we're experiencing and we don't really have a diagnosis or an answer for it, and it doesn't fit. And when things don't fit, I always think, do we need to have a new diagnosis, or we need to change the way we think about and conceptualize that one diagnosis? And for this, I think it's the way we conceptualize DID needs to be rethought. But rewatch my DID video. Sheepishness has been so great. She's put in all the links. Yeah, and hopefully that will kind of give you some answers. You can see why I think it should be a little bit altered. Thanks, Kelly B. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, we're going to answer a couple more questions, and then we're going to pop over to Patreon. Ostrich Cafe. Yes, it is common to be scared to get too attached to your therapist. I have a ton of videos about this, and this usually happens because either we've been burned in the past, we've had a bad experience with someone, a parent, a caretaker, a love, like a relation, someone we're in a relationship with, in any way. If we've been burned by someone, we can fear being attached because that could mean we could get hurt again. And also the therapeutic relationship is so different. It makes it difficult for us to sometimes not get too attached. It can be part of our borderline personality disorder. That's why if we really worry about it, we should talk about it with our therapist. You're not going to scare them off. It's important that we talk about everything, clearly communicate it. Thank you, Holly. Yay, yay, yay. Yeah, that's really it. Talk about it. It's okay. We all have been there. The more we talk about it, the better off we are. Thank you. Sheep is on it. Woo, woo, woo. Of course, Jay Hines. I'm glad that I can be helpful. Good question, Melissa. Thank you. Holly says, is it unhealthy to get attached to your therapist? It's not unhealthy per se, just in general, because all of us are going to, I just don't like the word attached, I think, because we should, just to give you an idea, we should like talking to our therapist, feel connected to them enough and safe enough to, like they're trustworthy enough for us to tell them things. Because it's going to be hard for us to tell them things, right? Like, if we don't trust them and we don't like talking to them, how are we going to be able to share, like, all of our deepest, darkest secrets? We won't be able to. We won't be able to talk about that stuff. So, making sure, I think Sean turned up the heat because it is really getting warm all of a sudden. But anyways, you should be able to talk to them. You should feel connected to them enough to do that. However, we should feel completely able, easily able, if we're not having a really shit time, by the way, we should feel easily able to go between sessions without them and honestly not think of them that often. It could be more like, oh, I'll need to talk to, like, my therapist's name is Jana, so I'll need to talk to Jana about that next week. Yeah, because that's really driving me crazy. Or looking forward to a session. That's completely normal too. But we shouldn't feel like, oh my God, I need more time. I need to text them all the time. I need to email them all the time. That's when the boundaries have been crossed in some way, or we're feeling too attached, and that's why we need to talk about it. Because we really, if we're in outpatient therapy, the goal is that you're able to try the things out in between session and let me know if it works, and come back and we try again and we readjust and we work again, right? So we have these different tools and techniques and homework that we're doing, but it's not really about me so much as it's about you being able to try it on your own and be on your own, because the whole goal of therapy is for you not to keep coming. I know that that's kind of sounds harsh, but it's very, very true. Sean always turning up the heat. DJ Sean. I know I did have music going, but he turned it down because he was on the phone, and then he left, and here we are. Yeah, Sophie. I do agree. Use that heat. And I'm sure it's cold everywhere these days. Sophie said, I feel like online therapy blurs these boundaries with how often you can message between sessions. I agree, and it's something that I believe needs to catch up. Like, they should have nipped that in the bud right away, because I know some of my clients in the past. I will, Holly, I'll tell him you said hi. I think he's making food. He's so good to me. He has been cooking dinner for me every night. Bethany, I'll do my best to send you some snow. But I think that when it comes to online therapy, because I've had clients in the past, as I was saying, sorry, I got distracted. I had clients in the past who I know, even if they couldn't afford it, or even if they didn't necessarily really need to talk to me, they would pay more to text me or pay more for a bigger plan to be able to email or whatever way they could get a hold of me. They would pay more for that. And I don't really like what that says. I believe in therapy there should just be a fee. You get a fee to see me once a week. That's how much it costs. And that means that in an emergency you can reach out to me. However, in between sessions, you cannot. Because I don't want my patients to be dependent on me. I want them to do well. I want them to like fly on their own. Yes, if you're having a real shit time, you can reach out, but I don't want to set that up, because then I feel like I'm setting you up for failure versus setting you up for success. I'm like your, emergency, like if you're on the trapeze, I'm like your net below you, just to make sure that when you make that swing and try to flip your leg over that you have me there just in case you slip. But that's it. So anyways, I hope that makes sense. I don't know if that does, but anyways, just like boundaries. Boundaries are important. Okay, sketchy businesses. Katie, I can't seem saying, thanks, Holly. Woo, 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 woo. I can't seem to stop hitting walls. I have PTSD. Could this be self-harm or anger? Is there a difference? I have broken my thumb. Oh, okay. Hitting walls, it could be both. There's anger associated with PTSD a lot. We can feel very explosive. Sorry, Sean's coughing out there. The smoke is pretty terrible in our area, and I worry about him. Anyways, I think that anger can be a part of any mental illness, especially PTSD, and we can feel explosive and want to hit things. That's okay. If you find that the reason that you're hitting the wall is coming more out of your frustration with the flashbacks or being back in whatever, like if you come back from war, or if you feel like you're back in your parents' house where they used to abuse you, and you're struggling with that, and you're struggling with like feeling safe in your environment, wherever that is, and that's why you hit the wall, that's PTSD. If you find the urge builds and you have to hit the wall because of the release that it gives you and it helps you feel better, and then it makes you feel better for a minute and then it starts building again, that's self-injury. And that's kind of how I tease that out. It's like all how it leads up to it and all our thought process around it. Okay, you guys, we are hopping over to Patreon. Bring your questions, bring your energy. I hope that you guys like it. Oh, thank you, Sheep. You're so good. Thanks, Holly. So yeah, so we're going to pop over there. It takes me a couple of minutes just to get it set up. Cool? Okay. I love you all. Thank you for being on. For those of you who can't make it over to Patreon, I completely understand. No pressure. It's just nice to have a little extra perk for them. I will see you all soon. Follow me on Twitter to find out when I'll be live streaming next. It probably won't be this Friday. Until I get fully better, I just don't want to max myself out. So I'm trying to practice the self-care that I preach. Also, Sean has turned up the heat to such an intense level. It's just getting so schwitzy. But I will see you all over on the Patreon one. Remember that when I make the post about it, click on the orange Crowdcast link. Don't try to click on the post itself. I don't know why it posted that way. So confusing, but we'll figure it out. Okay? I'll see you in a bit. Bye!